happening globally also, and that rally that we were seeing in the US markets looks like it has taken a little bit of a breather, but it's not much to worry about anyway. But the S&P 500 futures are near the flat line on Monday night as the market rally took a breather. Moves follow a losing day on Wall Street that pulled the Dow and S&P 500 off record highs that were seen just last week. The Dow and S&P 500 slip almost 0.2% and 0.4% respectively. Nasdaq inched lower by just 0.1%. Not much to worry about, like I said, but yes, it is a speed breaker in the rally that we were seeing coming across Wall Street. Now, Monday was also notable because it was the first day with e-commerce giant Amazon replacing Walgreens Boot Alliance as one of the 30 members in the blue chip Dow. Now, looking ahead, investors will watch Tuesday for economic data on durable goods, housing and consumer confidence. They'll also watch for earnings reports from retailers Lowe's and Macy's before the bell, followed by Beyond Meat, Virgin Galactic and Rocket Labs after the market closes. Now, those come before January's reading of the closely watched Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index as well as data on personal income, which is due later this week. Investors will also watch out for these releases for future clues into the health of the economy and for insights into the path of monetary policy. Now, the three major indices are on tracks for wins with just 3 days left in February's trading month. When you look at it from a monthly point of view, Nasdaq has led the way, jumping more than 5%. S&P 500 has followed with a gain of 4%, and the Dow has lagged, advancing just over 2%, but nothing to worry about because on a monthly basis also, all three of these indices are logging in gains. And with that, let's also shift focus and talk about the European markets this morning. Largely in the red, as I see DAX just flat, holding on to the green by the skin of its teeth, but FTSE down 0.3%, CSE down 0.5%, and Stock 600 also down 0.4%. So while Shansi, I wouldn't say it's a weak handover, but it is not as strong as it used to be last week. So let's see how this pans out for us. But with that, tell us what's happening in the world of crude.
Absolutely, it's very interesting, not just crude, but when you look at the world of commodities, the movements that you're seeing are very interesting because oil prices did fall nearly 3%. And that was, after posting a weekly decline after a US central bank policymaker indicated interest rate cuts could be delayed by at least 2 more months. And that was the move that we saw on Friday. It's very interesting what we've seen in terms of the weekly decline as well, because there is an understanding that the demand picture does look good. So such a move on Friday was definitely very crucial. Now, when you look at the move on Monday, oil prices gained on Monday, and this was as European diesel demand constrained by Russian sanctions and shipping disruptions pulled prices higher in a market that is already jittery with US refinery output limited by plant overhauls. Now, when you look at Brent crude futures, they settled with a gain of 91 cents or around that $82 a barrel mark. WTI as well finished up $1 up or about 1.4% up around that $77 a barrel mark. And a slump in US refinery activity and disruptions as well to global trade have tightened diesel supplies and it's something that we've seen play out. US refinery utilization has been at 80.6% of national capacity for the past 2 weeks, according to data by the EIA. And when you look at oil prices as well, they have been trading between a range of $70 to $90 a barrel since November. Now, this is of course as rising US supply and concern over weak Chinese demand offset OPEC plus supply cuts despite wars raging in Ukraine and Gaza. Of course, we've seen a bulk of those moves come in for oil as well on account of the geopolitical tensions. And when you look at gold prices as well, gold inched lower on Monday, and this is as the market focus shifted to US inflation data due this week, which could influence the timeline of Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. So when you look at spot gold, that edged about 0.2% lower around that 2031 mark, above the key 2000 level. And US gold futures also dropped about 0.3%. So that's really the move that you're seeing coming in for commodities.
Well, absolutely. With that, let's also take a look at all the important cues that you need to be keeping on your radar for today's trading session. Not much happening globally, but from the US, we do have an important data point coming in. That's the quarter four GDP numbers. It's an important metric, so watch out for that, along with the crude oil inventories as well. Shifting focus back home, you've got three companies that will be holding their board meetings today. ICICI Bank will be meeting with its board to mull the delisting of the equity shares of ICICI Securities. So we'll watch out for that counter in trade today. The board of Vodafone Idea is going to meet today to mull fundraising. So, well, we've seen some rally in the stock yesterday and in the days in the past when this news had come out. Let's see how the stock reacts to this news flow today and what's the outcome of that meeting as well. Paisalo Digital, that board will be meeting today to consider issuing convertible debentures, NCDs on a private placement basis. So we'll watch out for that stock as well. Today is also the last day to be eligible to buy NMDC, to be eligible for their dividend. So if you want to gain their dividend, today is the last day for you to buy, to be able to be a part of that record as well. And South Indian Bank, those shares will be trading rights in the ratio 1:4. So be watching out for all of these counters in today's trading session. Let's talk about the primary markets. Two IPOs opening for subscription today, Platinum Industries as well as Exicom Teleservices. Both of these IPOs will be opening for subscription, and lock-in period also ending for two recently listed companies, Fedbank Financial Services and Flair Writing Industries. 3% equity each coming out of lock-in for both of these companies. When we take a look at the other events happening, what's happening in the general news flow and across the country, the Prime Minister will be dedicating 3 ISRO facilities to the nation today. He will also be on a visit to Kerala. And internationally, the International Energy Week in London is kicking off today. So watch out for all of these cues in today's trading session.